But my highest point would be 2018. I went for the Youth Olympic Games and I came in 4th. First few rounds, I actually sprained my ankle. I couldn't play for that day, but then after that, I figured that since it's a once in a lifetime thing, it's a Youth Olympic Games and I only can participate if I'm a youth. So I just push on and just don't think about the pain. My motivation is that when I train, it's also painful, it's also hard, and it's also tough. So I just shift that focus, that feeling into this ankle sprain.
Jaslyn represents Singapore in badminton internationally and is a gold medalist for women's single in the National Open in 2020 and represented Singapore in the Youth Olympic Games. Jaslyn was also a full-time analyst at Quest Ventures, and I wanted to speak to her about how her career as a national sportsman helped her in an entirely different field of venture capital and the lessons she gained along the way.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Quest Conversations, and today I'm here with investment analyst Jaslyn from Quest, and she's also a national champion in badminton. Hi everyone. Okay, tell us more about yourself.
So I started playing badminton when I was about 9, and I came from Malaysia and I came over with a foreign sports scholarship in Singapore Sports School, and then I moved on to the National Intermediate Squad in 2013, and then after that I moved on to be a national athlete in 2017. Yeah.
Wow, so it's been quite almost a decade of playing badminton for you.
Yes, it's almost been a decade, and actually more than that.
Wow.
I started in 2009 and 2021 now.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
so
like
it's been
so
about 11
young.
years.
So where did the fire and passion for badminton come from?
So back when I was 9, my parents didn't want me to play video games, so they wanted me to be more active. So they chose either squash or badminton. But at that point, squash, the classes were full and then only badminton left, so I just played badminton and I played with my dad and I started liking the sport, and because there are so many changes and you can always compete with someone, that's how I started to like badminton.
And competition must be quite fun, right? To get all competitive, and that spirit is something that I think will drive people through, whether it's in sports and other arenas. But well, that's quite a nice childhood to have, and I think sometimes whatever you experience in childhood kind of brings you up to whoever you become in the future also, right?
Yep. Like competitions are a way to prove that your hard work is to justify your hard work.
Yeah, and all the hours and sweat and tears all.
Yep.
So how was the journey like to national championship?
It's a very long journey, long and tough journey. There's a lot of up and downs, and back when I was Sec 2, 2013, when I was 13, 14, right? I didn't thought that I can be I can be where I am today. But it's more of at that point moving towards my small steps, like one goal at a time, and eventually reach to the national champion stage.
So what was like the lowest point and the highest point of your sports career so far?
Lowest point would be a lot of injuries, like one after the other, and when I just came back from an injury and then I get another injury, that kind of thing, then it's quite frustrating, because when you thought that you can be back from the injury, but still you get another one.
Yeah, and then you'll be out of the court for a while, right?
Yes.
That must be a painful process, like literally and figuratively also.
Right. But my highest point would be 2018. I went for the Youth Olympic Games and I came in 4th. I couldn't medal because during the first few rounds, I actually sprained my ankle.
Oh my god, okay.
So I sprained my ankle and then I couldn't play for that day. But then after that, I figured that since it's a once in a lifetime thing, it's a Youth Olympic Games and I only can participate if I'm a youth athlete. So I just push on and just don't think about the pain.
So you continue playing even with a sprained ankle?
Yeah, so I just...
That's crazy! How did you, what is going on in your mind to, persevere through such pain? Like, it's literal pain.
Yeah, so my motivation is that... when I train, it's also painful, it's also hard, and it's also tough. So I just shift that focus, that feeling into this ankle sprain. So I just literally going through the same thing, like the mental obstacles.
Great, right?
Yeah. So I just keep pushing, and when I'm focusing on winning the point, I kind of forget about the pain until after that. Then I'm like, oh damn.
Oh my my gosh, you managed to clinch 4th place even with a sprained ankle. That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh, that is crazy, and I really respect that. I think there's so many sportsmen who can look up to such spirit that you have. So, were there like any say inflection points or defining moments in your sports career, like any decisions that changed a lot of things for you?
I think from moving from a national intermediate squad to a national team, that's quite a defining moment because it proved that actually the Singapore Badminton Association actually do think that recognize my talent, and they think that I'm a worthy investment, and they're actually willing to put the time and effort into building me to be who I am today. And that's one of the moments that I will always remember. And also a lot of competitions where I think that I won't be able to make it, like SEA Games 2019, 2 years ago. I was playing against this Indonesian women's player for the team event, and she was ranked 29 in the world.
What? 29 in the world?
Yeah, like top 30 or
That
top
is
50.
super impressive.
Yeah, so I was ranked at that point 99. And when I was playing against her, I was a bit looking up to her and treated her like a respectable opponent rather than a comparable opponent. But I managed to win her.
What?
In 3 sets, yeah. So
that's insane. Like, imagine if your ranking for 99 probably like jumped insanely high after that match.
yeah, so that was quite a like, oh, I can be at the world stage level too, like her. So that was one of the defining moments that I carried through the circuit breaker. Like 2020, we had a lockdown, right? So that's what kept my motivation high as well.
That's crazy because I hear and I watch several sportsman interviews, right? Whether from your swimmers to your athletes, your marathon runners and all. Most of them, the very defining moments, right? And the proudest moment, right, is when you are equally good or even better than the idols that you used to look up to.
Right.
And I think that is something that you achieve, and I think it will propel you further to a global stage down the road, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Great. And okay, so now we're talking about second career, because on top of badminton, right, you are also doing investment and okay, wait, one more time.
Okay.
Now on to our next topic, which is Jaslyn's second career. So on top of being a national badminton player, she's also an investment analyst at Quest Ventures. So I want to ask her a couple of questions on why she decided to go into a completely different field of venture capital while being in sports. So what triggered you to want to explore a completely new field?
Right. So other than being a badminton athlete, I'm also studying at Ngee Ann Poly. I graduated in a diploma for business studies, entrepreneurship management. And so I always wanted to start on my own business and see how the startup world is like. But at the moment, I didn't know what I want to start on. I don't know what business I could venture into. So I decided to join Quest to see what are the options that I have, and also have a overview of the entire market and different markets and see what I'm interested in. And I really appreciate the experience so far. I have learned a lot, and I have also learned from a perspective as an investor and as an entrepreneur as well.
I think being working in a startup would give you a very deep dive into a particular field or vertical.
Yes.
But being in a VC means you get exposure to all sorts of different markets, from Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam, and also all the different kind of startups from different industries, from commerce to IoT, food tech and all. So I think that gives you a broader look, and maybe that will help someone like you who is still trying to explore different options, right? To figure out, okay, what are some verticals and industries that you're interested in? And I think the value of gaining the perspective of an investor is also really valuable, because on the startup end, it's all about fundraising, getting customers. But in investor lens, right, you see how to value a certain company and to see like the growth potential and exit potential.
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
So I think next time when you go down the road of doing your own startup, I think that perspective will be valuable. Plus, even the network that you have made over the past almost 1 year at Quest Ventures will really help you in your future fundraising journey also, right?
Yep, I agree.
Awesome. So some of the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies and highly successful leaders are or were sportsmen themselves. So for example, your General Electric CEO Jeffrey Immelt playing football for Dartmouth. Your Hewlett-Packard CEO Meg Whitman was a four-sport athlete in high school. Whole Foods CEO Walter Robb was a soccer star at Stanford. Even Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan started with football and ended up with rugby. And many, many more. The list goes on and on. So do you think there's some sort of correlation or trend between sports, right, or success in sports and success in a corporate career?
I think there are a lot of values that you can bring from a sports career into a corporate career. For example, we are always very goal-oriented. We know what we want, and we always think that we can achieve it, even if it's impossible to everyone.
So it's a very positive mindset.
Yes, and we are very focused on that goal, committed to the goal, and we also learn how to work as a team. Like there are also a lot of people that are team players and individual players, but for badminton itself, although it's an individual sport, but we still have to train with someone, train with my teammate. So we learn how to work together and to bring the best out of each other, right? So in a corporate setting, you can bring that into your company as well, because you learn how to bring motivate someone, and also maximize their performance, their strengths, and also cover their weaknesses. And together, like, the company could grow and be successful together.
I'm actually quite surprised when you say that, because I thought, badminton, if you're playing singles, it's quite individualistic. It's all for yourself. But I'm surprised that you brought in the team element even for a sport like badminton.
Yeah, because a lot of times, humans, right, we have a lot of blind spots that we can't catch, right? Sometimes we are so focused on something that we missed out a lot of things. And when you are a team player and you are always focused, because we do have team sports also, team events, like women's team, SEA Games, Commonwealth. Yeah, so we kind of want each other to be better also, for ourselves and for the team. So we always help each other to look out for their what they can improve on and what are the strengths that they should hold on to.
And I think this is so transferable in a corporate world, where if you spot mistakes for a team, of course, people have different treatments in the corporate world, right? Some people are all for themselves, very individualistic, looking for promotions, and it's just living for yourself. But then the highly successful people, of course, support and empower their teammates and colleagues, whether it's people above them or below them in the hierarchical structure. And of course, if you spot someone who you think has some sort of shortfall, right, the best way to learn is, of course, to help people yourself, and to give them some feedback. And I think that will help you learn as well, and also people will be more willing to give you feedback, knowing that you're really open to critics, and you're willing to pay forward to people as well. And so what are some of the transferable skills, right, that you feel you're able to take into your second career from whatever you learned in sports or even in young poly?
Right, so integrity, like to always be true to ourselves regardless of whether anyone's looking, and like exams or even going for competitions, you make sure you don't dope, you just win the way that everyone should.
That's pure skills, right?
Right, and always respect your opponents. And regardless of whether we are an investor or entrepreneurs, we should always respect each other, because there are so much to learn from each other. And as well as an athlete, because there are always strengths, weaknesses that you have that might be strengths of your opponent, and through playing together or talking to each other, you know how to overcome your weaknesses and also strengthen your opponent as well. And one of the things that I think can transfer, the biggest thing is leadership skills, and to be able to voice out when something is wrong.
How so did you learn leadership skills in sports?
I think I work better as a team. Like, even though I play an individual sport, but I love to work as a team, because I like when everyone is aligned towards the same goal.
Very social creature.
So back in secondary school, back in sports school, I was a student captain for 3 years.
Oh wow.
And after that,
your teammates would be counting on you for direction, and also to discipline them in certain structure and how to prepare for competition.
I believe that it's more of the coach trusting. Like, my coach always tell me to influence the good traits, like to always bring them, like, because there are days that we don't feel like training, there are days that we are so tired from exam and everything, we don't want to do anything.
Lack motivation.
Yeah.
Right?
So even though as a leader, I also feeling the same thing as my team.
Yeah.
But I believe bringing the morale of the entire team can propel us to train harder and much better in in training. So yeah, I always push to like, hey, let's go, come on, it's okay, it's gonna end soon, that kind of thing. And after that, I moved on from Singapore Sports School. I entered a national team, and back in 2019 SEA Games, I was actually the vice captain of the team too. I was actually the youngest leader because my
That's
team.
insane.
Yeah, I'm the second youngest in the team.
Wait, how old are your teammates?
My teammates are about 4 to 7 years older than me, or more than that.
Wow.
Yeah,
And you're vice captain of the team.
yeah. So it's actually quite defining, like the way that the coach and the teammates trust me. Yeah.
That's crazy, and I believe, right, the best way to lead sometimes is to role model also. So back when you're feeling stressed from school and you are the one going through the inertia of training and motivating yourself first, and then people will follow your lead. And
Right.
I think that is really one of the hardest things of being a leader, which is that no matter what obstacles you face together everybody else, you have to have the strongest spirit to get through them first.
Yeah.
So that is really, really tough. So what are some of the highlights and key takeaways from your past almost 1 year in Quest Ventures?
I think working together with the 3 partners that I work mostly with, like Jeffrey, James, and Yiping. Yeah, they taught me a lot about the industry, like the industry that they are in. Like Yiping, she started her own startup in Indonesia and acquired by Lipo Group. And James, he was working in China. And Jeffrey was advertising king, right?
Yes.
So he's been all over the world. But James and Yiping, they have been very focused in their country and in the industry. And you really can learn a lot from them, like how they operate and how they think. Yeah, their business mindset and as a person, it really changes them. And you can see that, they have inspired me in a lot of ways that I think that in the future, all of us can achieve.
And some sort of values and belief systems that they have. It's things that we notice along the way as we work.
And how they are willing to educate and guide us. Like, so I'm just a fresh grad and I'm trying to get my way around the corporate career, and they are willing to guide and also nurture people like me to be the next generation of either investors or entrepreneurs or even in a corporate. Yeah.
I see. And what are some of the key projects that you worked on throughout these few months?
Yeah, so I work on multiple investment deals and also facilitated market access programs like the Scale Up Malaysia and Vietnam Global Innovation.
Okay, would you like to tell us more about these 2 programs?
Right, so Scale Up Malaysia, we selected about 11 startups to invest in. And they are mostly in the digital economy, and we believe that they have the potential and the potential to go to the next stage, to grow regionally across the region and also in Malaysia. And for Vietnam Global Innovation, it's more of a program for the startups, Singaporean startups, to touch base with the Vietnamese stakeholders, like the corporate, like the legal team, and a lot of to really deep dive into ecosystem in Vietnam and to help them expand into Vietnam easily.
I think these 2 programs are really interesting because if we're just working on Singapore deals, we're quite restricted and limited by the landscape here, which is quite safe. It's not there are not as many nuances as in Vietnam, where there are different cultural differences that you have to take note of, different stakeholders that you have to get to know to do business there. And in Malaysia also, the consumer behavior is different. So doing business there is entirely different. And your consumer behavior in your JB to your Penang to your KL will be entirely different. Whereas in Singapore, I guess it's quite consistent. So I think it's really great to have exposure in the 2 accelerators that you ran, plus all the investment deals that you worked on also. So tell us more about what is a day in a life for you, especially when you're juggling both like competitive sports, okay, not just any sports, competitive sports and venture capital.
So I start my day about 6.
What?
Yeah, so I'll be having my breakfast, and it's typically oatmeal with eggs and a coffee.
That's so healthy.
Yeah, and on the days that I'm slightly earlier, that I'll read on my emails and the news and to make sure to catch up for the day. And then I'll head to training at Kallang. My training starts at about 8.
That's really early.
Yeah, so we will do about 2 1-hour drills, and it will end about 11:30.
What sort of drills? Is it like peak physical training kind of?
It's more of court training, so
I
you'll be
see.
sparring and working on different scenarios like attack, defend, long
I
rallies,
see.
and things like that. And after 11:30, I'll take a shower, and I'll come over to Quest. And
All the way from Kallang to One North, which is where we're located at UTC Launchpad. It's not near at all.
So I'll get here and I'll have lunch with my colleagues. Yeah, and and we will have lunch at Timber, and then after that I'll move on to either have meetings or work on investment memos or work on anything that is related to as my role as an investment analyst. And then after that, at about 6 to 7, I will head to my evening training.
Evening training.
Yeah,
That's so exhausting.
it'll be a short one. It will just be fitness drills like running, gym, agility training, and things like that.
You know, I feel tired just by listening to you. Really.
Yeah, so I'll end my day about 9 and I'll have dinner and then shower and then I will go to bed.
Well, that sounds like a really long day because at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., we're all so tired from our day of work already that we'll probably just go for dinner and hang out with our friends or head home to rest, right? And she's still going out for trails. It's insane.
I guess that value can translate as an entrepreneur because there are days that you are so rushed and still you have to work on yourself.
And long hours.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So that's really one thing that can be applied next in the future.
Do you have any idea what kind of startup that you want to do next time?
Maybe more consumer based. But I'm not sure what I want to do yet.
Still figuring it out. Okay, same as Mia. I feel like I want to start something new on top of whatever I've done before. Probably consumer facing as well, but I'm still uncertain on what kind of service or product also. But I think along the way, as you get more exposure, whether it's in badminton or in your second career, like a venture capital investment analyst, I think all these ideas will start shaping and forming up with more experience also and interaction with founders and investors.
Alright.
Awesome. Do you have any tips out there for aspiring athletes or aspiring athletes who want to consider a second career? What are some advice?
Just be open-minded and always accept who you are. So be open-minded in a way that whatever comes at you, you just take it positively and work the best that you can. And like if you're moving on to a second career as an athlete, then just accept that you're starting new. You are doing something that you have not. You're doing something new and you have zero experience. It's like starting the sport all over again.
Yes.
Right? You are doing something that you have not done like decades ago. So just be open-minded. You might not get there fast and hard like you used to in your sports, but take your time, one step at a time, and you'll reach there eventually. Yeah, that's one tip that I have.
That's nice, and some sort of like humility and like hunger to learn in a completely new field, I think would lead to great success.
Yeah. Ask uncomfortable questions comfortably.
wait, can you repeat that again?
So be comfortable in asking uncomfortable questions. That's the hardest way you can learn.
Oh, wow.
And you can learn the most.
Do you have any examples like what is considered uncomfortable questions?
It not necessarily make people uncomfortable, but something that you always wanted to ask, but you don't have the courage to ask.
I see.
Yeah, so just do it. You will.
And that's where you discover the greatest learnings.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, where can people connect with you to learn more about you?
You can always connect me on LinkedIn, Jesslyn Hui. Or if you ever see me on Kallang or anywhere, if I'm in a badminton gear or office wear, you can always say hi to me and we'll talk more.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on this interview. And I think we all learned so much, whether we're in sports or we have no idea about sports, right? And we're just corporate people. I think there's so many lessons to learn from someone like you who are dabbling in both competitive sports career in venture capital. Thank you so much for joining me today,
Thank
Jaslyn.
you.
I'm Vanessa, and thank you for listening. This podcast is produced by Quest Ventures, top venture capital fund in Asia, in collaboration with Pixel, the innovation hub of Infocom Media Development Authority. Follow us for more exciting episodes to come, and stay in touch with us or find out more about Quest Ventures investment syndicates at questventures.com. Till next time.